therysabers.com.
What's up, guys? Sit back, relax. This is going to be a behind the scenes, a professional business type of video. And if you're interested in the Saber business, Saber community, this will shed a ton of light in full transparency on me, the Saber community, the Saber industry, the business, and so on and so forth. So let me take you back many, many years. The first job I ever wanted as a kid was to make lightsabers at Lucasfilm. When I was 6 years old, I was put into a computer school. Long story short, I was teaching by the age of 11. Photoshop was my main thing. I loved doing a course for my students on lightsabers and how to make them. I was obsessed. As a kid, I was obsessed. I would buy master replicas. The 0.45 scales, my parents couldn't afford the big ones. And yeah, and so from there on, I was obsessed with lightsabers and reviewing them and talking about them. Anyways, fast forward to being 28, 29 years old, 30 years old. It was about 4 or 5 years into the channel, and I had done my face reveal. Vader Episode 1 was done, blah, blah, blah. You guys knew what I looked like, and I started reviewing a new technology called NeoPixel lightsabers from various other companies. The videos, like, freaking blew up, man. You guys loved those reviews, and I loved making those reviews. I didn't ask for handouts. I didn't ask for free lightsabers from companies. I'm a man where I like to buy my stuff and give my unfiltered review of things, and that's that. So I purchased all of my sabers from various companies, did my reviews. The videos were getting in like the 500,000 to 1 million plus. Those companies were emailing me they were making astronomical sales from my videos. Astronomical. And they asked me to put their website links in the description. They never gave me a dime. They never gave me free sabers. I didn't ask for it. Nothing. I was killing it on YouTube anyways, and I don't like free stuff because it gives you kind of a gag order, or you kind of like feel like you have to say something nice. I've never been like that. I wanted to keep it super real, and I didn't want any sort of have to say this, have to say that because they gave me a free freaking lightsaber. No. So I've always bought my own. I made them hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars from my reviews. Great deal for them, right? I buy your product, I review it, and then you make freaking sales too. And you guys were asking for those reviews and unboxings like crazy. So I had a whole series on the channel where I would do unboxing and reviews, theories, saber reviews. And you guys remember the intro and all that stuff that Benny Productions made for me back in the day, 2019, 2020, something like that. I really enjoyed it. And a lot of you started to request that I make my own. At the time, I thought it was a great idea, but you know what? I thought it was just something I didn't want to get my hands into because I didn't know where to start. I knew it would cost a lot of money, and I didn't really have that. I was too afraid. I was afraid at the end of the day, and I didn't want to. I knew how much attention my channel was getting, and I was getting. I would say that was like peak era of Star Wars and of my channel. I was doing like 60 million views a month, like 30 million on a kind of average end. Something like that. I didn't want to just be a typical YouTuber and slap my name on a product and start selling. And I had, 7-figure deals.
Take a seat, young Skywalkers.
That lightsaber companies, saber companies, manufacturers were hitting me up and being like, you don't have to do anything. We will hit you. We will put your name on all of our products. You sell it as yours, and we will handle everything. And I wanted money for sure to help fund the film. I didn't want to pay for it out of my pocket. I definitely thought about it, but I came to the conclusion that it's just not what I want to do, because if I ever wanted to do something like this, I wanted to know exactly what I'm selling, exactly what I'm talking about, have extreme control over the manufacturer that I choose. And frankly put, I did not know enough about this new technology because NeoPixel had just kind of come out. And I did not know enough about all the different manufacturers that were popping up left, right, and center. I was having fun making my lore videos, making my fan fictions, doing my live streams, my gaming live streams, and doing my unboxings and reviews on my own terms. I was making a killing on YouTube, and I was good, Despite a lot of you asking me to make my own company, I held off until 2020 when I said, well, I guess the same year, I said in a live stream, after so many of you asked, I said, all right, I will one day make my company. I will one day make my saber company called Theory Sabers. And I have that live stream. You can see it here. A possible goal of mine, we'll see how that goes, is to create my own saber company and manufacture and go forwards from there with my own brand. Maybe something for the future, maybe 10 years from now. I don't know, maybe 5. Long story short, you know, a few years later, there was another company that popped up which used a very similar name. I was like, whatever, man. I'm a YouTuber. I like to make my content. Whatever. We'll see what happens. Then it got to the point where, all right, you know what? I would love to make my own sabers. I don't want to be selling the same generic stuff. So I started to research, and I'm looking at all the different companies that I used to buy from. Like, look, they're all kind of selling the same sort of thing. And I went a little bit further, started looking at Reddit threads. I started talking to some friends that were in the industry and knowing the ins and outs a little bit and getting a bit of a grasp on what was going on, because personally I thought a lot of these guys were making them out of their machine shops. Truth is, from what I learned, is that a lot of them were the facilitators. They were working with manufacturers in China or wherever it might be, and they were essentially reselling, right? They were maybe adding a little bit of value to it. Some of the ones that would say that was made in the US or assembled in the US, I looked up the law around that. If I'm not mistaken, all you need to do is you need to throw a screw or a wrench or an Allen key, or, you know, tighten a piece of one of the sabers or something like that, a screw, in America once you receive it, and then you can slap a sticker on there saying assembled in the USA. It's a cheap little trick, but it got me. And I know it gets a lot of other people, but look it up for yourself. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what it is, at least what it was back then.
Shit. Got your ass.
So I was like, look, I don't want to sell the same, you know, sort of generic thing that everyone is selling. So I want to make my own custom thing, you know, a custom saber that is akin to me. And so I did that. I did a one-off of 30 sabers. It was an LGT saber, a Xenopixel, and I believe we went through a ton of different trials and errors. It originally looked like, I'll show you, and it originally looked like this. This was the very first original Theory saber that I ever made. And it was supposed to look a little bit different. It was supposed to be like pearlescent. I like cars, and I thought, you know, pearlescent looked cool. But, you know, and I was partnered at the time with my buddy Mark, because I didn't have money to fund it. Mark has big bucks. And so he was really helping me fund a lot of it, and we would split profits. But it came out, you know, it wasn't what I wanted. And so I said, well, shit. Now we got to spend more money to make it look completely different. And then so the end result is what you guys have seen, which you can see a photo of right here, which is on my Instagram. And we did a Instagram post. I could only afford to make 30 of them at the time, and we did. And we sold out within like half an hour online, and they were really well received. So people really enjoyed them. They really liked the little cards that came with them, and all that, and the little box. But I didn't have any customer service. I was the customer service. You know, I didn't have anything else besides that. And so they were shipped out. You know, Jesse Kyberphonic really helped me ship them out, and it was a really cool experience. It was like my first real experience of like selling my own saber. That was the first sort of inception of Theory sabers. And so then a lot of you started to ask, you know, why don't you sell the generic ones? We would love to support you. We trust you. We want you to sell all of the same stuff that everybody else sells. You know, the LGT catalog, the TXQ catalog, 89 sabers, you know, whatever. And I'm like, you know, man, I don't have that kind of money to, you know, have that kind of inventory, or to even start something like that, or even have the money for the website for something like that, which websites are so expensive. And then I would need a team, and I'm like, I don't have that money. And, you know, I'm trying to make this movie for $1 million. I don't have that cash. So I held off on that too. And then I think it was like a year and a half later, then we did another one-off, and you guys saw that design. It looked like, a lot of you said it looked like an ice cream or a dildo or something. You said something like that. Anyways, and we did 50 of those, and those, you know, that was that. After that, I was like, look, you guys kept asking me to sell and offer the ones that everybody else carries. And I'm like, okay, if this is something I'm going to do, I need to do my research. I spent about 5 to 10 grand of my own money to buy a ton of stock. Well, not a ton. Back then it was a lot for me. of LGT. And I wanted to look through their entire, just how they're constructed, their quality, how they feel, their durability, everything. Long story short, I chose not to fulfill with them after selling a few. They were fine for a little bit, but I felt like what I wanted to put my name on was something a little better. I wanted to have more control. I wanted to have more say in my products. I wanted to have more customization. And then I found TXQ, which has the level of quality care and control as if it was literally mine. Like as if it was my factory. I am very close with the dude who is under the owner of TXQ. And the amount of pull and clarity that I have over there is something that I don't think I could have anywhere else. I mean, you have the biggest Star Wars channel. You would imagine that I would have a little bit of pull when it comes to the saber industry, right? A lot of people have been wanting to work with me for years, and this is now something that is a very collaborative effort that I'm proud to work with. So I started working with TXQ, but we started releasing sabers, and I was like, look, I'm all about customization. I like to customize everything I own, whether it be my cars or my truck or whatever. I like to customize stuff in game, whatever it might be. It feels like it's me, it's part of me then. I'm not just like reselling shit. So I'm like, look, I want to do a special box. I want to add in a stand. I want to add in a custom Theory Sabers blade plug. I want to add in a saber bag, which you can use as a cleaning cloth. I want to build an experience for the customer. When you get this box, it's a magical, it's an experience. That's what it's supposed to be. I didn't just want to resell the same sort of stuff with no added value just to fund the film. I wanted to take a lot of pride in what I do. And so that's why when I worked with TXQ, I'm like, look, I'm going to be a bit of a hard ass. I'm really freaking control freak and anal, and I want things to be done my type of way. And if we can do that, then this is going to be harmony. We're going to make a great product, and we're definitely going to make our headway in sales because people want someone who understands the product, is passionate, and has the transparency, which the industry did not have. There was no customer support. There was no really modifying or adding value beyond what the manufacturers were already throwing in there to your product because people were complacent. They were making a shit ton of money from the new technology that was coming out, and they didn't really have to do much. And so when I entered the scene, I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to add a lot more to it now. We got the box and blah, blah, blah. I want fonts. I want to add my music. And so now with every single purchase, you're getting a completely different experience, which isn't just a reselling of what everybody else is doing. That and it's funding, of course, the fan film, blah, blah, blah. So I got pretty happy with that. I'm like, okay, this is a product that I would want to have. This is something that would blow my freaking socks off. And if there's a problem, I want to have dudes who are not just like based in India or China or whatever when there's an issue for customer service. I want you to talk to someone who their native tongue is English and they're not just trained to know sabers, they have been in the saber community for years, long before Theory Sabers existed. They have been collecting, they have been reviewing, they have been disassembling, building, programming with great proficiency and expertise. And that's why a lot of the guys if you're in the know, in the community, a lot of the guys on my team are literally the best in the industry when it comes to whether it be making sound fonts or whether it be, programming them, absolute sabers, for example, so on and so forth, reviewing them, knowing exactly what they're talking about. My entire team is comprised of saber heads, dudes that are just obsessed with sabers and they know them inside and out. They're not just collectors. They literally know how to program them, put them together. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a great team, like the Avengers of sabers, knowing exactly what they're doing and what they're talking about. So when a customer comes to them, hey, how do I get it off of mute? There's no sound. They know exactly what to do. They don't got to read a guidebook and tell you, They can troubleshoot things right on the go, send you videos back right same day. And that's what I wanted. That's something the industry was definitely missing with the added value of what we offer with that whole entire experience. And that's what I wanted to do, was to also offer not just custom sabers, made by Roger Christian, approved by him, which is a dream. Nick Gillard, which we got coming out real soon. And Ray Park that we're going to be working with hopefully soon. We've talked with him and so on and so forth. I wanted to also offer, as you guys requested, all of the sabers that are on the market by these manufacturers. And by the way, I only work with TXQ. I don't work with any other manufacturer. So any of these videos you see out there that are defamatory to me or to my brand or to my products, my price is of a TXQ quality with all of my added value, with all of the value of the songs, of the fonts by Kyberphonic, everything else that comes in the box. All of these are extra costs for me, which is no added cost to you. And yes, there must be a markup. Otherwise, the business will not continue. There's no way I could be able to pay 20 people working on the team plus just for Theory Sabers. Then you have another lot of people, 10 to 20 people for Vader Episode 2. That's business. You have to make a profit in order to continue going. Otherwise, you're either just exchanging money and then having to pay taxes on it, which you're in the minus anyways, or you're at a loss. And then how is that sustainable? You can't be offering a great product for cheap. You want something cheap? Go on AliExpress, which takes me to my next point. We will start offering prices that TXQ sells. You can find TXQ sabers on AliExpress at dirt cheap. Good luck getting customer support and there's no added value that we offer and all that stuff. But if you want just the saber, we're going to start offering very base prices, the same as AliExpress, but you also get our customer service. So now there's going to be no complaints, nothing from anybody. If you want that price, you're not going to get any of the nice box, exclusives, nothing. You'll still be supporting the fan film. You'll be supporting us, but you're going to be getting those dirt cheap prices, but don't expect a lot when you get the actual saber itself, like you would when you get our premium stuff, which is, I think Theory Sabers is a premium brand when it comes to the saber industry, and it's still extremely competitive with everyone else out there, despite them not throwing in a fraction of what we throw in. Not even talking about the customer support, which was non-existent when I came around. And once I came around, all these other companies started sweating. They started copying my ads. They started copying my creativity, the way my website looks. They started copying our products, what we're trying to put in there. They're trying to poach my guys. They're trying to poach Kyberphonic to get his fonts. Dude, I could tell you guys stories that would make you laugh for days. I thought YouTube was petty. I thought content creators were jealous and petty. Saber industry with vendors is another story, and I don't know what it is about me that infuriates people so much. I'm just out here doing my best as a fan, and I'm doing my thing, and we're succeeding.
You will not take it from me!
And the proof is in the pudding, and I'm just doing my best. I got nobody else on my mind except the customer and except what I want to see. I'm applying the same thing that I did to my videos to succeed on YouTube to my products. And that is, what kind of video would I want to see if I were watching YouTube and I wanted to watch a Star Wars video? How would I want the comic videos to be? How would I want the music to be? How would I want the edits to be? How would I want the stupid voices to be? How would I want this fan film to be? The same thing with my products, because I used to be a customer, just like I used to watch Star Wars YouTube videos. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something a little bit different. I think that, it'd be fun to do this or it'd be fun to do that. And here we are today, 9 years later. So I hope that gives you a bit of transparency in the saber industry, in the business. And I hope I can level with you guys and let you know that this is something that I'm really happy to be doing. I like it more than YouTube. I like it so much more because this is something that my fans, that Star Wars fans, that fans in general can feel proud to own. They can enjoy something like this, and something that I spent tens of thousands on other companies' sabers, and they got their money's worth. I mean, I paid them. I freaking paid them for it, and they made so much money, from my good endorsement. And now that I'm in the same game, I get a lot of shade from the same guys that I used to support and buy from and make them money. And now, because I'm not making them money anymore, I'm making me money. That's a problem. Then I'm a villain. But before, it used to be, please do more, please buy more from these companies and do a review. But now when it's a product that I'm making or I'm perfecting, then that's an issue. I don't get it. We now have our warehouse in Florida, which is amazing. We have a USA warehouse, and we're expanding on that soon too. We're hitting conventions like no other, like nobody's business. And now I see all these other people hitting conventions and trying to do the same thing we're doing, whether they're copying the ads or the conventions or the influencers they're trying to reach, which are some of my own, or just bad mouthing or defaming me for whatever reason. Don't forget that this is a space that I was requested to be in. I never intended to have a saber company, just like I never intended to be a Star Wars YouTuber. It kind of just happened, and I am loving the process. And now I am so deep in it that I want to go all the way.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And I can't wait to see where it takes me. I can't wait to see where it takes the brand and all of my people behind me and with me and in front of me that are making the brand really possible. I love being able to connect with you guys. I love being able to offer transparency in the community and giving a product that I'm proud of. Maybe it's not the best in the world. I truly do believe it is. I haven't seen anybody that offers more than we do, not by a long shot. And I'm just really proud of that. I put my heart and soul and everything into this. And if you knew the ups and downs and the backstabbing and the literal holes I have had to dig myself out of good faith of other people just to get here, just to still be here, you'd be amazed and you might have a little more respect. Anyways, I hope that this gives a little more clairvoyance on everything. No shade to anybody else. Please go support any other company, any other manufacturer that you like. There are so many out there today. But just know that if I'm choosing to work with purely TXQ, for me, that is who I think is the best of the best when it comes to quality control, and having my say and my way with the sabers that I offer my customers. You might see a difference. Anyways, I hope you have a great day and support whoever you want to support. Hope you're excited for Vader episode 2. It's going to be dropping fall, winter time. Just a few more months. We're almost there. And then we're going to get started on episode 3. So we're already over budget. It's already going to be over $1 million. I hope it'll be worth it. I hope it'll be something that you guys are proud of. And this is going to be for free. No ads. Can't wait to see it at the next convention. We're going to be at SpaceCon with Nick Gillard. I'm living my dream, and I can't wait to bring you all along for the journey too. And by God's grace, keep going. May the Force be with you always.